A simple ticket. We fold it, music, we spend it, we keep it in the wallet, but we rarely stop to think about it. However, that rectangular piece of paper has the power to buy food, pay for a house, or move entire markets. How can something so fragile have so much value? Every day, millions of people use money without knowing what it is made of, how it is produced, or why we simply do not print more to end poverty. What's behind each bill? How is a plant transformed into a symbol of global wealth? And why is money not really just paper? What for us is routine, for governments is precision engineering. Each ticket is born under strict security protocols with secret materials, specialized machinery, and techniques impossible to replicate. For the next few minutes, we will travel from the cotton fields of the southern United States to the most guarded laboratories on the planet. We will discover the complex, secret, and millimeter process that gives life to one of the most powerful objects in the world, the dollar bill. Get ready to know the true story of physical money, because understanding how money is made is understanding how our society works. Before becoming money, a bill begins its life in the most unexpected place: music. The field is not made with plain paper or simple textile fibers. The US dollar, for example, uses an exclusive formula: 75% cotton and 25% linen. This mixture gives a unique resistance, an unmistakable texture, and a much longer useful life than any traditional paper. But not just any cotton will do. Only certain varieties grown in the southern United States, especially in Texas, Mississippi, and Georgia, meet the demanding requirements. There, music, the warm and humid climate favors the growth of longer, white, and resistant fibers. These fibers must be free of impurities, neither leaves, nor branches, nor earth. In fact, only between 10% and 12% of the harvested cotton manages to pass the necessary quality controls to become a ticket. Music. The harvest is highly mechanized, but each step is designed to preserve the integrity of the fibers. Then, the bales are moved to processing plants where they undergo cleaning systems by compressed air, vibration, and filtration. The result is cotton so pure that it cannot contain more than 1% of waste. A single impurity the size of the head of a pin can cause an entire 200-kilogram bale to be discarded. But cotton is not alone. The second essential ingredient is flax, a noble and strong material from Europe. France and Belgium lead their cultivation thanks to centuries of agricultural tradition. Unlike other plants, flax is not cut. It is pulled out completely from the root to preserve the entire length of the fiber. Then, it is left to dry in the sun for 2 to 3 weeks in a process called ring. It's a delicate technique. If it shortens, the fibers do not mature well. If it is too long, they weaken. After drying, the fibers are combed, crushed, music, and purified until they are ready to be pressed and sent to the paper money factory. There, along with cotton, they will shape the most guarded material in the world. Each bill begins here, in silence, on Earth. When cotton and linen fibers arrive at the paper money factory, one of the most secret and sophisticated processes in the world begins. Here, raw materials cease to be vegetable fibers to become the physical support of the financial system of an entire nation. It is at this stage that the raw material is transformed into the canvas of the economy. First, both materials are crushed, music, and mixed in large tanks with hot water and high-pressure vapor. The result is a kind of white pulp, dense and homogeneous, similar to a porridge. At this stage, the first safety elements are added: the microscopic visible and invisible colored fibers, and, in some cases, unique chemical markers that cannot be replicated. Synthetic DNA and fluorescent fibers that react to certain types of light can also be included, allowing each batch of paper to be traced with scientific precision. The mixture is poured over conveyor belts that drain excess water. As it progresses, it is pressed, dried, and transformed into long sheets of ultra-resistant paper. But this is not just any roll. It contains embedded watermarks, security threads that cross the ticket, and a special texture that makes it recognizable to the touch, even with your eyes closed. This paper must withstand folds, moisture, friction, and even counterfeiting attempts with aggressive chemical solvents. Each sheet goes through automatic controls of weight, thickness, opacity, and consistency. If a single sheet does not meet the established standards, it is automatically destroyed. The level of control is so rigorous that less than 0.5% of production can present errors. And those errors are archived, never released to the public. This paper is never available in the open market. Only one company in the world, Crane Currency, has the exclusive permission to manufacture it under contract with the United States government. Its facilities are protected as if it were a military base, with restricted access, cameras, sensors, and authorized personnel. Once ready, the paper is rolled up and sent to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, BEP, where you will receive your true identity, numbers, faces, stamps, and value. Before any banknote sees the light, it must be designed with almost surgical precision. This process is not artistic in the conventional sense. It is a national security operation. Each line, shadow, geometric figure, and white space is designed not only to be visually appealing, but also impossible to replicate. The process begins in music, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, BEP, with a team of experts in design and engraving, many of them with decades of experience. They use a technique known as music engraved on steel, where every detail is manually drawn on metal plates with very high precision instruments. Some engravers spend up to 3 weeks perfecting a single section of a president's face or the fold of a tunic. The result of this craft work is what we call the master plate. From it, multiple copies are created using a system called electrogalvanoplasty, which allows replication of even the smallest groove. These new music plates are made of hardened steel to withstand tens of thousands of printing cycles without losing fidelity or definition. But the design goes far beyond the portraits. Each graphic element, music, fulfills a function. Phrases like, "In God we trust," the patterns surrounding the denomination number, and even the empty spaces where the watermark is located. Everything is synchronized like a visual safety net. Even the placement of certain elements is designed to thwart scanning or digital copy attempts. In addition, music each denomination has unique characteristics. The $100 bill, for example, incorporates microprints inside Franklin's neck that can only be read with a magnifying glass. It also includes wavy lines, cross textures, music, and symmetrical structures designed to confuse digital scanners and make counterfeiting by advanced printers difficult. This process does not end with the approval of the design. Once the music plates are ready, they undergo internal tests where multiple fake scenarios are simulated. Only if the design passes all security tests is its mass printing authorized. Designing a ticket is not a creative act. It is an economic defense strategy. Every stroke protects the value of money and strengthens the confidence of a nation. Are you surprised by everything behind a simple bill? If you find this content interesting, like the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. You help us continue creating documentaries like this, and by the way, you don't miss what's coming. We continue. With the paper ready and the plates engraved, one of the most visually striking stages begins: printing. But printing bills is nothing like printing a book, a magazine, or a poster. Here, every millimeter counts. Every color has a purpose, and any mistake can represent a threat to the economic security of the country. It all starts with offset printing, a technique in which the color background of the bill is applied, those soft shades, geometric patterns, and decorative wefts. This process uses rollers that transfer the ink indirectly, creating a precise and uniform visual base. However, it is not at this stage where true magic occurs. That comes with the next phase, the gravure printing, also known as intaglio printing. This is where the bills come to life. Hand-engraved steel plates are mounted on giant presses that apply between 20 and 40 tons of pressure on each sheet of paper. Under this colossal force, the ink is pushed out of the metal groove's music and adheres to the bill, creating a relief that can be felt with your fingers. This texture is unmistakable. Rough, authentic. It is also one of the most difficult signs to falsify. The ink used in this stage is a secret formula. It contains magnetic particles, fluorescent compounds, and pigments that are only revealed under certain light conditions. In addition, music high-denomination banknotes include OVI, optically variable ink, which allows the number to change color when the bill is tilted. This effect is achieved thanks to metallic microcrystals that act as tiny mirrors reflecting light with millimeter precision. We don't see it, but we feel it. An aroma can awaken memories, fall in love, repel, or mark a presence. The perfume is one of the oldest products of humanity, and yet its creation remains a mystery to most. How do you encapsulate an emotion in a drop? How do you transform a flower into a luxury symbol? Each perfume bottle holds a complex alchemy of science, art, and nature. From the flowering harvest at dawn to the millimeter precision of the most modern laboratories, each essence hides an almost ritual process. It's not just mixing aromas. Music is building an invisible identity. For the next few minutes, we will take you from the lavender fields in Provence to the secret workshops of the noses, the master perfumers capable of recognizing more than 3,000 aromas. Music. We will discover how flowers are harvested, how their essential oils are extracted, and how those mixtures are built that last hours on the skin and years in the memory. Because behind every perfume there is a story that begins on earth, mixes in the laboratory, and ends in the emotion of those who use it. Get ready. What you are about to smell can also be counted. All perfumes begin long before the laboratory. Its history was born on earth, in carefully selected fields, where the climate, the soil, and even the time of day determine the quality of the final aroma. Flowers and plants used in perfumery are not common. They are varieties cultivated for centuries by expert families, guardians of invisible traditions. Let's take lavender as an example. In the Provence region, France, the fields are dyed violet every summer. When 70% of the flowers are open, it is the ideal time for harvest, just when the concentration of essential oil reaches its peak. If it is picked up too soon, the perfume will be weak. If you expect too much, you lose the aromatic richness. Unlike industrial crops, the collection of flowers such as damask rose in Bulgaria or jasmine in India and Egypt is done by hand. Each flower is collected carefully without damaging its petals and is transported in aerated baskets to avoid heat and fermentation. In the case of jasmine, it should be harvested between 2, music, and 4 in the morning, when its fragrance is at its most intense point. The weather also influences. Too much rain dilutes the essential oil. Too much sun evaporates it. Therefore, each flower has its own calendar and farmers must act with surgical precision. But not everything is a flower. Roots, barks, resins, and fruits are also used. Vetiver is grown in Haiti, sandalwood in India. Neroli is extracted from the bitter orange blossom, each one with its own cultivation and harvesting technique, each one with a different soul that will bring character to the final fragrance. Once collected, the raw materials must be processed quickly. Some flowers only keep their scent intact for 24 hours. Therefore, transportation from the field to the distillery is a race against time. The fresher the ingredient, the purer its essential oil will be. Behind every drop of perfume, there are thousands of flowers, sunny days, expert hands, and an ancestral connection with nature. Because the first note of a fragrance is always born in the countryside.
Picking the flower is just the beginning. For a plant to be transformed into perfume, it must deliver its purest essence, the essential oil, and extracting it is not an easy task. Each type of flower, music root or resin, needs a specific method to release its aroma without losing its complexity. The oldest and still widely used method is steam distillation. Here, flowers such as lavender or rosemary are placed in large steel stills. The hot vapor passes through the plant material, releasing the aromatic molecules that then condense into liquid form. Since oil is lighter than water, it floats on the surface and can be easily separated. But some flowers are too delicate to withstand the heat. That's where solvent extraction comes in, a more modern technique. It is used for flowers such as jasmine or rose. They are mixed with a solvent such as hexane, which dissolves aromatic compounds. The result is a fragrant wax called concrete. This is purified with alcohol to obtain the absolute, one of the purest and most valuable forms of essential oil. There is also supercritical carbon dioxide extraction, a cutting-edge technology that allows you to obtain oils without solvent residues and with a very high olfactory fidelity. Although expensive, it is ideal for premium ingredients and high-end fragrances. Efficiency in extraction is critical. To obtain 1 liter of rose essential oil, you need between 3 and 5 tons of petals. For jasmine, more than 7 million flowers are required. This explains why certain perfumes can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Not all ingredients are natural. In modern perfumery, synthetic compounds are also used, but even these must be extracted or synthesized with extremely controlled processes, replicating molecular structures that imitate natural odors. In the end, every drop of essential oil is a concentrate of earth, time, and technology. Its quality will define the duration, character, and evolution of the perfume on the skin. This is where nature becomes alchemy, where the invisible begins to take shape. Once the essential oils are ready, the most artistic stage of the process begins. The composition. This is where the formulas that define the personality of each perfume are born. And at the center of everything is an almost mystical figure. The nose. A nose, also known as a master perfumer, is an expert capable of recognizing and memorizing thousands of aromas. His work is not only technical, music is almost poetic. Combining ingredients to build a sensory experience that evolves over time, turning an abstract concept, music, such as elegance, passion, or freedom into a tangible fragrance. The creation of a perfume follows the structure of an olfactory pyramid divided into 3 levels. The top notes are the most volatile. Music impact in the first seconds and disappear quickly. The heart notes form the soul of the perfume. They remain for hours and define its character. Finally, the base notes are the most persistent, those that remain impregnated in the skin and clothes for much longer. Each formula can contain from 20 to more than 200 ingredients. They are mixed in precise proportions using high sensitivity scales. 1 drop more can ruin the whole balance. In this phase, fixatives are also added, substances that slow down the evaporation of aromas, prolonging the duration of the perfume. Some are natural like amber or musk, while others are synthetic. Fixators do not have a strong aroma by themselves, but they are key to a fragrance lasting all day. Perfumers work in silent laboratories, surrounded by test tubes, numbered bottles, and olfactory cards. Here, each test is recorded, each mixture is labeled, and each modification is carefully documented. After defining the formula, the first test batches are prepared. Then, the mixture is left to rest in stainless steel tanks or dark glass vats for several weeks or even months. During this time, the components interact with each other. Some notes are softened, others are intensified. It is a silent, invisible, but vital process. Many perfumers consider that the true character of a perfume is not revealed until after this stage. Once the maturation is completed, the time for filtration arrives. At controlled temperatures, the liquid cools and passes through ultrafine filters that remove impurities, residues, or solid particles. This way you get a clear, stable, and long-lasting perfume. Then comes the bottling, a phase where precision is once again key. Each bottle is filled with millimeter accuracy using automated systems. The bottles are previously washed with filtered air and vacuum sealed to prevent evaporation. Then, the atomizers are placed, the lids, and finally the labels are applied, often handmade to guarantee music, an impeccable finish. But the bottle is not only a container, it is part of the perfume. Its design communicates the essence of the fragrance. Curved lines for sensual perfumes, right angles for fresh fragrances, deep colors for intense notes. Everything counts. Finally, each unit is carefully packed and stored in specific conditions of temperature and light, ready to be distributed worldwide. From the flower fields to this final moment, the perfume has passed through expert hands, precision technology, and a silent passion. Because a perfume is not only created, cultivated, expected, and transformed. A perfume is not seen, it is not touched, but it is felt. It is art in a liquid state, an invisible signature that accompanies, impacts, and remains. Behind each bottle there is science, history, agriculture, chemistry, and, above all, human sensitivity. On this journey we discover that a simple drop of fragrance hides the work of hundreds of people. From farmers who harvest at dawn to perfumers who mix molecules with the precision of a surgeon. Nothing is casual, everything is detail, care, and time. Each perfume is a compressed story, a connection between nature and emotion, between the tangible and the ethereal. It is a luxury that is not only bought, but taken, lived, remembered. Just as money symbolizes courage and power, perfume symbolizes identity and expression. One builds the economy, the other the character. Both are born from the earth, both pass through expert hands, both accompany us every day, although we rarely stop to think about how they were created. Today you already know it. If you enjoyed this journey through the world of money and perfumes, like it, share it and subscribe to the channel, because behind the everyday there is always a fascinating story to discover.